Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, visiting East Coast Volkswagen, and I'm checking out a 2021 Volkswagen ID.4 in the first edition. This vehicle is sitting on a set of Bridgestone tires, 235/50 tires in the front, 255/45 tires in the back. Now they're wrapped around 20-inch alloy wheels with a gloss black finish. It also has ventilated disc brakes in the front and drum brakes in the back. The name of this color is Mythos Black Metallic. And the sun keeps going behind clouds, but it's basically just a gloss black with a little bit of sparkle. Now we can see it with the sun shining on it. You can see a little bit of sparkle there. So taking a look at the front of the vehicle. Now this particular one, since it has the black exterior finish, some of the accents kind of blend in, but they are a matte black. So you can see right here is a matte black, here at the base is a matte black. There is a metallic silver here at the bottom edge, but the bottom portion here is a matte black. It has a little opening here for cooling, and then you have an opening here for the air curtain there on the around the tire. It also has parking sensors. They're kind of integrated into the flat black portions here in the front. Now this one has a white Volkswagen emblem that indicates that it's a first edition. So the headlights are LED, and it has a LED accent around the outside. And you can see the little side marker there, LED. It's a very interesting design. There's kind of like this bulging LED portion around the actual headlight, which is in a focused projector beam for your low and your high beams. There's also an additional light here that turns on for your high beams. There's also, these lights are actually connected right here. So this is an LED strip as well that extends across from one side to the other. You'll see the same thing with the tail lights. There's an extension that connects the tail lights together as well. We'll check that out in a minute. Taking a look at the profile, that flat black portion that we saw at the base of the front extends around each wheel well, comes around across the bottom. It gets kind of thick right in here, and it's basically an unpainted flat black surface. You can see it's around this wheel well, and it goes all the way to the back. And this is supposed to help with road debris and stuff like that. Just a more durable surface besides the glossy black paint. Now you do have the glossy black wheels kind of blending in this particular case, since we have a black exterior. There is body colored handles and upper portion of the side mirror as well. And there is a little first badge right here. The top above the glass, you can see above the glass, there's this silver trim, similar to what we saw in the front at the very base of the vehicle. So it's just basically silver painted portion of the vehicle. It's not like a metallic or anything like that, or aluminum. And then you have the roof rails in that same color. Also, the pillars are a gloss black. So you can see this right in here is a gloss black, and it helps solidify the glass here. So if the front windows were tinted, you can kind of solidify the whole thing and then capped off with that silver. This is what the key looks like, and it's a full proximity key system. And it's designed where you can just keep the key in your pocket, in a bag. As long as it's with you, you can use the vehicle 100%. And you see the back, it's all gloss black. It has a chrome outer portion trim on the outside. There's a physical key on the inside in case you need it. By pushing that button, you can slide it out. There are some buttons here: lock, unlock, the ability to open up the power liftgate. Also a panic button right here. So you can push that and it beeps the horn. Now, as long as you have the key with you, like I said, you could be in your pocket, in a bag, as long as it's within a close distance, within a close proximity of the outside of either the driver or the passenger side front doors. To open it, you put your hand behind the handle, and it's not a physical lever, it's actually just a electric button. Push that and it releases the door. To lock the door, there's a little dimple here, and that's a sensor. You put your finger over the sensor and it will lock the doors, as long as you have the key with you. And then simply, of course, it can tell whether you have the key or not, and it'll allow you to unlock the door. The doors go almost all the way to the bottom. So when you open it up, you can see there's a seal there, and it keeps most of the road debris out of the threshold. So that's a nice feature. Here's the inside of the passenger side door. Now it's like a combination of black, gray, and then this white. You'll see that a little bit in the vehicle, especially in some strange places. I'll show you that in a second. So this is a soft touch material up here. It's like a foam injection molding type stuff. Over here is a hard plastic here as well. This is like a vinyl type material, soft to the touch, but not super soft. It's kind of bottoms out quickly. This is a hard plastic here. This is a handle, but it passes through. So kind of possibly a missed opportunity to have a little pocket there. I'm not sure. Maybe this is used for something that I can't think of besides maybe an umbrella, but if you had a small enough umbrella to fit there, it can fit in this pocket in the bottom, because the pocket down here is pretty good size, and it also is felt lined as well. Power seat here on the passenger side. Now it has lumbar adjustment, so it's a two-way lumbar adjustment. You also have the ability to raise and lower and tilt the seat. There's a lot of adjustments here for a power passenger seat. It also has 2 presets as well, which is nice. It also has the ability to turn on a massage, which is pretty interesting. Now these are simulated leather. It's a synthetic leather, and these are heated seats. The outer portion is a smooth surface. The inner portion is perforated. There's a lot of perforations in the seat, and here on the sides is like a microfiber cloth where it meets the plastic, so that way it's a little bit more supple than this leather, so it doesn't damage the leather. So that's a good idea. Here's the leg room, and there's 2 places for the floor mat to snap in place, keeping it straight for you. Pretty good amount of leg room. Plenty of space in this vehicle, just in general. Now there's a little bit of a pass-through space underneath that console, and I'm not exactly sure what it could be used for, considering it's open on both sides, to where if you were to put something there, and it could slide out on the passenger or the driver's side. So I'm not sure exactly what that space could be used for. Maybe you can leave a recommendation in the comments. I guess you could put it like a bag or a purse or something there that may not slide. That might be a place for it, but it seems like a little bit of a empty, wasted space there. But it could just be because I'm lacking imagination. Now I don't know if you can see, there is a blue ambient light right under here, which is looking pretty nice. Glove compartment is not locking. It is smooth plastic on the inside. Pretty standard as far as size glove compartments go. So this is a hard touch surface here. This is a softer touch, and then hard touch here at the very top. And then there's that painted silver accent. The front door swings out pretty wide. It has a wide open space to get in and out of the vehicle. Lots of headroom here. And it's just generally well done, it looks like. But the back door, of course, on a crossover vehicle like this, will be smaller, typically. The opening will be smaller, but the swing of the door seems a little bit lacking, in my opinion. So if the door swung out just a little bit wider, it would kind of make up a little bit for that smaller opening. So you have this part getting in the way, a little bit less headroom here. So as far as the passengers getting in and out of the back, it's not quite going to be as comfortable as the front. You can see quite a bit of a difference there. The inside of the back door, hard touch. This is a soft, barely soft, and then this passes through like the front. That's hard touch and hard touch. So it's very similar as the front. It's just has a little bit more hard touch surfaces. On the back of both front seats is a kind of a shallow pocket here. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of shallow. A lot of other vehicles have it much higher, but it does give you that ability. But it also has a smaller one here at the top. So you can see, put your cell phone or something, quick access type thing. Kind of goes in about that far. That's how far it goes in. You'll see that on the back of the driver and passenger seats. So the back seat is basically a bench seat, and it has the perforations in the middle, smooth simulated leather on the other portions, armrests with cup holders. There's a little bit of a pass-through there into the cargo area, or coming out of the cargo area, depending on how you use it for. Okay, so it does have the latch system, or ISOFIX, and there's little covers that you fold down and you can access the latches there. And these little covers, they stay connected pretty good. So it's one of those ones that you're not going to lose as easy, unless it comes loose, of course. And these seats fold down in a 60-40 split, and I'll show you that soon. Now the floorboard, I don't know if you can see, but it is really quite a bit flat. There's a tiny hump in the middle, but I would say that's basically effectively a flat floor. So you have lots of leg room, not only for the passengers on the side, but also here in the center. There's a vent and a little cubby hole right there to put some small things. Right above the vents, right here, there is USB-C charge ports. So you will have to have the appropriate cable for charging your device. The charge port is here on the passenger side. It kind of looks like a fuel door for a regular vehicle. And it's kind of spring loaded. So it kind of, you release it by pushing it and then you let go and it flings out. It does lock with the vehicle as well. So when the vehicle locks, it will also lock. And there's the charge port. It also has this bottom portion for the faster charging. Has little indicator lights here, tells you what they mean. This little sticker right there, just kind of showing you what's going on, especially for the person who's just using an electric vehicle. It's handy to have that. Taking a look at the back of the vehicle, starting here with the top. So there's this huge glass sunroof in the top. It doesn't open, but it's just really massive. Then you have those roof rails there in silver, you can see that shark fin antenna in a gloss black, and then a pretty good amount of sloping down here, and then covering up the back portion quite a bit, and then it has a relatively small rear glass. The upper portion right here at the top of the glass is the third brake light. It does have a little wiper right here. And considering it's all gloss black, in this case, it kind of does blend in with the glass, the exterior color anyway. So we have the white badging in the center. They centered that. The backup camera is just a tiny bit offset right here. So the center line will be like right in here, and they put a little bit to the right. Now the tag holder has not been installed yet, so it would go here, covering up that space. There's parking sensors across the back. It also has a little tow hitch. There's a little tow hitch there. It's pretty neat. You can see that flat black portion and the silver paint there. Similar styling as the front. These are reflectors down here. Those are not lights. The tail lights are all LED. Turn signal, reverse lights, everything's LED. And it has an extension from one side to the other, a red LED connection. Opening up the power liftgate, you can of course use the button on the key. Just hold it down and it'll open up the power liftgate, or you can reach under here and push a button, and it's to the left of the camera, so you can see the camera there, and there's the button next to it. And you can see it's LED tag lights here and here. There's the button, so you kind of reach in and push it, and that's the backup camera, just a little bit offset, just enough to annoy me a little bit, but that's just my thing. Now there is a spot to put some triangles up in here as well. You see how small that back glass is, because you have this large piece right here covering up that portion. So I'm not sure. I guess they just make it small for weight reduction. I'm not really sure, but it's kind of like over half covered up where there could be a piece of glass. Okay, so there's a shade here that's removable. It's very light, so it's easy to take out. And if you have all the seats occupied with passengers, this is your cargo space, which is pretty decent. Now on the left side, there is a bag holder, 12-volt power supply, LED cargo light. There's a little strap to secure. This vehicle comes with a tire inflator kit. You can use that. You can put a fire extinguisher or whatever you want to strap there, but it is a nice little strap to have something to stand up here. I would use it for a fire extinguisher. When I first saw that, I was like, that's where I'm going to put my fire extinguisher. And then you have a little storage space here on the left side. Tie downs here. On the right side, you have a similar storage area with a tie down. And then up here you have another LED light and a bag holder there. Now what's interesting is there's a little blank space right here, and then the LED light is in the front. On this side, the LED light is in the back, and then it has that in the front. So the lights are they're not symmetrical. It's a little bit offset. So I thought, maybe that's, maybe that's just happens to be the way it is. I'm not sure. It's not a huge amount of offset to where it's going to fill in the shadows so much, but just kind of one of those things that stood out to me. But I do like the fact that it has two lights in the cargo area, especially with the black carpeting. Having those two lights shining from either direction. So if you just had one light, like a lot of vehicles unfortunately do, you put something in the middle, it casts a huge shadow to the right of that, and then it's all dark. So having two lights kind of helps eliminate shadows in the cargo area. Okay, so you can actually add a little bit of depth to this cargo area, or you can use this under storage area. So this lifts up. You can put some stuff here out of the way. If you want to add to the depth, you can of course take this completely out like so. Now you have a deeper cargo area. Or if you don't want to try to find a spot for this thing, you can just take it and slide it under here, which kind of takes up a little bit of your depth, but at least you have a place to put it. And it's kind of pretty easy to do it with one hand. Raise it and lower it. Now this doesn't secure in any way. It just basically sits there. I guess a little bit of friction there, but this doesn't snap in place. So if you have, if you have things heavy under here or whatever, it's not going to secure anything under here in an accident. So things can be flying out. So if you have tools or something, the vehicle flips, that nothing's secure here. So you do have the tie downs on each corner, so you could theoretically tie this down, especially of course if you have something heavy on top of it, you want to tie it down, preferably. Okay, so move that back, and under here is an additional space, and this is where you'll find, this is where it's stored now, is the charge cable. You can plug this into different outlets, 220, 110, that kind of thing. You get different adapters. And then there's your tow hook, and your tow hook screws into, I don't know if you notice on vehicles, they have these little cover right here. You just pop that cover open, and then you can screw it in there. It's reverse thread. So that's the way most of them are, especially European vehicles, does have reverse thread. You also have your tire inflator kit here, and that's in lieu of a spare tire. And it kind of goes in there a little bit, so there's a little bit of extra space in here, but of course this is below this floor, which is below this floor, so it depends on how much stuff you have on top of it. Might make it a little bit harder to get to, but it is a nice little space under there that's out of the way. Now this is a pass-through here in the middle. This is a 60-40 split seat, so you can fold down that seat or this seat to add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space. Or you can take the shade out, you can fold both seats down and have a really big wide open cargo space when you don't need so many passengers. Lowering the power lift gate, you can just push this button and it'll come right on down. This is quite typical with newer electric vehicles. You just have the key with you. So we're gonna just get in the vehicle and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I get in. And there's actually a sensor in the seat that now knows I'm in the I'm sitting in the driver's seat. And what I'm going to do is simply just put my foot on the brake and it starts up. So it's basically just kind of ready to go now. And so it's that simple. You just get in the vehicle and put your foot on the brake, and everything kind of starts up for you and gives you your information on your screen and all that kind of stuff. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. And there's some plastic here now, but it does have the ability to snap in a floor mat, and it snaps in 2 places, keeping it straight. There's your accelerator and brake pedal. You notice it has a little play button and a pause button on the raised rubber portions of the metallic aluminum pedals. Looking pretty neat. There's a footrest here on the left side, which is durable material, like a rubber type material there. And it's pretty good size. It goes up, and it's got a good angle and everything, so that's nice. Also, you can see this is the hood latch. And it's designed, you can see as you pull it, it's gonna pop out from this space. When you shut the door shuts on that latch. So you can't accidentally pull it when the door is shut and you're like driving down the road or something. It just keeps you from pulling that latch. So let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch in the very center. So there's the center of the emblem. You just reach in and you'll feel a little piece of metal, move it to the left and lift up. It's actually a piece of plastic. Move it to the left like that so you can see what it's doing right there. And fairly heavy hood, so be prepared for that. And you see the under portion of the hood is quite, there's no insulation or anything, it's just bare metal, and it's quite thick. It has all this empty space in it. I'm assuming that would be crumple zone area. So it does require a prop to hold it up. Here's the prop right here, front and center, and it has yellow on it, so it gets your attention, and you just swing it up to that right where that arrow is pointing. So under the hood, a lot of electric vehicles will have a trunk area here. In this particular case, this is just like a normal vehicle where it's taking up with you know, mechanical and electrical items. So there is a air conditioner condenser coils here, and it allows for airflow to come in. It kind of lifts it up. It actually probably could have had some space here for more airflow because it kind of funnels it up in the direction of it anyway. So a little bit more airflow might have been a little bit better, but this might help out with aerodynamics, which is, this vehicle is not the most aerodynamic in the world. It's like 28 coefficient of drag, something like that. 27, 28. Okay, so you can see it has a regular car battery here on the right side. It's kind of smaller than the average one. And then you can see this brace. So these strut towers are here, and it has this brace. Those are connected to the unibody structure of the vehicle, but then you have this brace that extends out and around, kind of stabilizing this cluster of things here in the middle. So that's interesting. So this is not an engine. Typically there would be an engine there. This is all part of the system here. Now this is a rear wheel drive, so the actual electric motor is in the back. So this is all additional stuff that your vehicle needs to maintain its you know, its functionality. So this is where you really, the only reason why you would raise the hood is to fill up the windshield washer fluid. Really, all the other things the mechanics will check on when you bring it in for service, which is not very often considering there's no oil to change or anything like that. So, you know, this is the only reason why you lift the hood, is because of that right there. Don't mess with anything else, really. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. So right in here, I'll have to demonstrate that when I'm sitting in the driver's seat. Some of these buttons will not be activated unless you sit in the vehicle and it kind of turns on, you know. But you'll notice there's only 2 power window switches. I'll show you that in a second. And your side mirrors are adjusted here. It also has a power fold capability as well. The ability to open up the power liftgate switch here. And just like the passenger side, the driver and passenger basically are the same as far as the functionality and adjustments here on the seats. It has the 2 presets and a massage function and all that stuff, and the lumbar adjustments. And the seats seem quite comfortable to me. They don't really stand out as being too firm or too intrusive or anything like that. They seem fine. To the left of the steering column, there's a few soft touch buttons here. And so you have the front and rear defrosters, the lighting here in the front. So if you have your headlights, if you want to turn your headlights on, you push this button. So you have your parking lights off and automatic. Since I'm not sitting in the seat, it will not allow me to turn on the headlights. This is for your fog light. It focuses the lights more in the lower position, so when you turn that on, it's kind of like turning on your fog lights in a way. It's more for, like, you know, rain and fog or anything that's different than just regular night driving. All right, and then you have a tilt and telescoping steering column, and you'll notice that the screen is attached to the column, and the column is white. The steering wheel is white, the stalks there are white. It's pretty interesting use of that color, and it's in contrast to most everything else in the vehicle. At the base of the windshield, right in here, there's a long LED light right at the base of the windshield. And when you drive, I don't know if you can see it just lit up for a second. When you drive, it'll give you information basically. So if you have the navigation set to a particular address, if you need to turn right, it'll illuminate the right side. It'll give you some kind of information. Basically, it lights up to get your attention during certain times. In general, it's just not distracting or anything like that. It just illuminates at certain times. Okay, I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out. And I have the seat all the way down and all the way back. And I feel like a toddler here because it just goes back so far that I can barely touch the pedals here. And so this is for really, really tall people to go back here. There's actually a good portion of the rail, of the seat rail, exposed now because I've moved back so far. So it's amazing how far back this vehicle will allow you to go. Now, of course, you diminish your back seat room, but just to give you an idea of the potential legroom is unbelievable here in the front. Very unbelievable. So I'm going to move up a little bit just so I can reach some of the controls to some degree. Okay, so looking at the steering wheel, you can see it's a flat bottom, and it's a synthetic leather wrapping in a white color, which is interesting. So you want to make sure your hands are clean when you're driving the vehicle. A little bit of a bump right there as a grip, and it has a gloss black accents, also that silver portions as well. You see it has the first badging here at the bottom. On the left side of the steering wheel is your cruise control, and these are soft touch buttons, but they have a haptic feedback. So as you touch the button, so let's go and turn the cruise control off, it gives me a little bit of a vibration in under the surface of the button to let me know that it has been pressed and the vehicle has indicated that that's been activated or whatever. So that's deactivated. All right, there we go. So now it's on. We can set resume. We can set the speed here by sliding up and down or push up and down like so. This works better when you actually slide it like so. And the mode, this way, as you slide left and right, it'll say cruise control system or adaptive cruise control system. When you have the adaptive cruise control set, you have to push a little bit hard in the middle there here to set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and it'll give you a little indicator there. All right, and this is for your lane keep assist. Now, you know, it's not in drive, it's not driving, but that's what that's for. So you turn it on, you can set it, resume, change your speed. So like if it's in regular cruise control, not adaptive, you can adjust the speed here. And then you can go to adaptive cruise control, and then you can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you after you set, and of course you can adjust your speed as well. On the right side of the steering wheel, you have this view button. So as we slide this to the right, you see it changes the view there, a little bit bigger on the left side or smaller, depending on what you want. And then you have your volume for your radio. So you push there to go up, there to go down. Up and down will be your radio station or audio track, depending on what you're playing. You can also make selections with this OK button, depending on what screen you're in. So we can push that OK button right now, and nothing's going on. So you also have a voice recognition here. So we can push that. And this would be for if you want to make a phone call, you can call somebody in your phone book, but there's other features that you can use the vehicle in different ways, like adjust the climate control, stuff like that. I haven't had a lot of luck with it as far as you know, it recognizing my voice. Also, it's quite a bit of delay when you talk to it. So you know, something you have to get used to. Maybe the vehicle has to get used to your voice, that kind of thing. Sometimes the voice recognitions are adaptive system. So in this case, it might be something like that. Also, when you want to turn the steering wheel when the vehicle's on but not in drive, there's no power steering. So as I try to turn the steering wheel like so to try to show you this windshield wiper stock there on the right side, it's kind of hard to turn. When I turn it to the left, kind of hard to turn here as well. So this is your turn signal, your high beams, of course, and so, you know, nothing really significant there. It does have automatic high beams as well. And then there's your screen. It shows digital speedometer, your range, your status of your headlights, status of your cruise control, and what gear you're in, that kind of thing. And speaking of gear, this is the shifter. So this little thing's a shifter. It kind of sticks out right here. To put it in park, you push the park button. That'll put it in park. It'll automatically go in park if you forget and you just get out of the vehicle. It'll automatically do that. To put it in drive, you tilt the top part forward. So there is drive. I'm going to put it back in park. If I want to put it in neutral, I just kind of half pull it back, like a little tiny bit, and puts it in neutral. To put it in reverse, we pull it all the way back. So it lets us know that it's in reverse. Now, a couple things will happen when we do that. The backup camera will pop up. You also have your parking sensor system will be activated as well. You can quickly turn that off if it's just driving you nuts, beeping too much or whatever. You can just push that button there. It does have active guidelines and pretty good size screen, but as you can tell, because of the camera is so low in the back, the offset portion doesn't really matter so much, but the position so low makes everything above it very distorted because it's trying to stretch and let you see as much as possible. So you can see how distorted that looks. Also, the clarity is quite a bit lacking. So, you know, if you see something on the ground, is that an oil puddle, or is that a, you know, something else? You know, something you gotta watch out for. The clarity is a little bit lacking. The saturation of the colors is a little bit lacking, and of course it's extremely distorted, so that's a little bit lacking as well. So, you know, I think if it was in a higher position on the vehicle and a little bit better clarity, I think it would be better, considering the size, because you have a really nice size screen and it's just not really taken advantage of all that well for some reason, because you can see the clarity. I mean, it's a really nice, vivid, high resolution screen, but when they put a low resolution, distorted, just poorly executed camera, I guess, just kind of like stands out. You know, nice, really nice high resolution screen and everything, and but then the camera is like really bad. But it is a camera there and you can see it, so it's all good. I mean, it's fine, but it could be improved. It's just doesn't look 2021 quality. The screen does, but the camera doesn't. Okay, so let's go ahead and put it in park. All right. And it does actually have a push button start. If you want to push a button, you can do that, but just getting in the vehicle just starts it up. So this is a little redundant. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe that's for a particular use. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't seem to have any use as far as interfacing with the vehicle in that way. So I let my foot off the brake and it just automatically said goodbye, so I guess it was assuming I was leaving. So it kind of like makes assumptions. So if you want to have the headlights on, so before we get into the screen, that's going to take a while. There's a few things I want to show you. Okay, so you have the mode of your headlights here. So now that I'm sitting in the seat, I can actually do it. I can turn on the headlights, the parking lights, and so like that. Turn that, like that. Just soft touch surfaces here. Also, while I'm sitting in the driver's seat, I can roll down the front windows like so. You know, so it's a normal, roll it up, roll it down. But the back windows, I have to press this button and activate the rear windows. So now I can roll them up and down. And they go all the way up and all the way down. All right, so we can disable that. Press and hold it for a second. Now, if I press and hold it for a little bit longer, it starts flashing. And when I do that, when I roll down this side, it rolls both the front and the back at the same time. It's actually rolling all the windows down. You see that? All the front and the windows, back windows down real fast. So if we have this flashing, it's gonna roll all the windows down. So we press, hold it, it's flashing. I can roll them all back up. Kind of neat. And then when it stops flashing, then it goes back to the normal front windows. All right, so the side mirrors, you adjust of that, you just pick a side. You can also, you keep turning it and you turn on the heated side mirrors, turn it again, and then you have the ability to fold in the side mirrors. So you keep on, it's like a dial, you just keep on turning it. And activates what you want to activate, type thing. Now the door locks, it has a lock button. So now we lock it, unlock it. It's like that. So when it's illuminated, it's locked. This is the child lock. You can turn that on or off. So it's a little bit different than the regular vehicle. It takes a little bit of practice, but you know, it's just slightly different for some reason. They just wanted to be different. I guess because it's an electric vehicle, they want to make things different. Okay, so we're back to the touchscreen basically, and you can see it's a nice large touchscreen. It looks good, and it's sometimes a little bit laggy, but overall pretty decent. So let's go here. So you have these, it's like a cell phone, of course. All these screens are making it like little icons now. So let's go to the radio first. You see that little lag, it gets a little bit worse sometimes. So we can make the selection, say FM, satellite radio, internet radio, that type of thing. We'll have the satellite radio. And we can go to our favorites. There's the radio there. Make selections. We can go to media, Bluetooth, and then my media will give you music, videos, and playlists, depending on your particular, you know, whatever you have set up basically. And then the Bluetooth, of course, you have to pair a device in order to play things off of that. All right, so we push this button here to go back to the main screen. And I don't know if you noticed, but there's not that much of a glare. Even though this is a glossy screen, looking at it, it's fine. I mean, I don't really have a big glare issue with this particular one. I don't know if it's the way the vehicle is designed or the angle of it or what, but that's really nice. Also, you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto capability, and this is a wireless capability. So, you know, somebody's phone is connected here, but once you pair your phone, it'll have those options. It'll pop up there. So there's vehicle information here, which is pretty cool. Interior and exterior, you can find out and adjust things basically. Check on your tires, which is pretty neat. Set the warning. What pressure, you can raise that. I would raise that a little bit higher than that. All right, mirrors. So those are different settings basically is what that's going into. All right, the navigation. So we can do a search. We have suggestions, last destination. We have favorites. We can look at the map. You can pinch zoom in and out. See how this screen looks good. I mean, it's a really good looking screen. So it's too bad the camera doesn't look all that great. It shows you the speed limit on the road that the last speed limit sign you basically saw, that kind of thing. And then you have a list of contacts here, you know, which you can search for, and then you can set up different route guidance, voice guidance. You have brief. Wonder if it has long-winded. Comprehensive. Okay, comprehensive. So that's pretty interesting. All right. Yeah, basic functions. All right. Telephone. Once you pair the phone, you have access to it here. Don't have my phone paired. You also have the ability to adjust the ambient light, so you can change the color, the brightness, all that kind of stuff. Have two-tone, two different colors going on, which is cool. Assist system, so this would be your adaptive cruise control, your street sign information, that kind of stuff. I can go in there and adjust that. Close that out. This is the actual settings, but you notice there's settings throughout all these options here. It's kind of like adjusting things as you go. You can adjust the sound. You can adjust the center. So like say if you're just a driver, you can put the center more that way or however you want, whatever sounds good to you. Help screen gives you information. So this is good to have because there's a lot of stuff in here that's just different. So helping people out with trying to get used to this vehicle is definitely good. So the auxiliary climate control, you can set this up at a particular departure time, like hey, I leave for work at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and you can go ahead and get the vehicle to set a particular temperature before you leave, whether it be in the winter or the summer. It's going to either get the air conditioner or the heater going, so you know, maybe a few minutes before you go, your vehicle will be ready for you when you get in it, which is pretty cool. So you can have these different screens. These are kind of like main screens here. Has like a split, so you can, depending on what you want, has these three options. The climate control, you can go here and you can adjust. It has heated seat, high, medium, and low, and off. Heated steering wheel, 3-stage, high, medium, and low, and off on the heated seat and steering wheel, which is cool. You can adjust the temperature. It has automatic. It has a smart climate, classic climate, and then your air care. So this will be, you know, basically keeping contaminants out of the vehicle with the filter system. Just gonna cycle it through a pollen filter. So yeah, it has a little clock over here, an outside temperature, and what the signal it gets. It has its own cellular connection, so it's showing you the signal that it gets there. But the clock could be a little bit bigger. Be nice to have a larger clock, but that's just the way it is. So just below the main screen, there's some soft touch buttons here. So you can adjust the temperature by sliding here for the driver, passenger temperature. And in the center is your volume. So once you put your finger down and start sliding, you can just keep on going. Even if you go over into the climate control section, it'll still pick it up. You just keep on sliding and it'll allow you to slide it. So it doesn't have a physical knob, but you know, you just put your finger there and start moving it, and it seems to work fine. So these buttons down here, there's your 4-way flashers. This goes quick access to your climate. Quick access to, in this particular case, your camera and parking system, even though we're in park, so we can still look at that if we want. Get different views there. We're going to adjust it. All kinds of things there. And over here is your assist systems. So we're going to go to that, push the mode. Let's get out of that. All right, push this mode button, and that will change your drive mode. So we have Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Custom. See what the different views are. Looking pretty neat. All right. So those are different buttons there at the bottom. Place to put a, you know, like identification or some kind of card right in here. And there's some cup holders, but this is kind of a multifunctional space right in here. You can use it for cups, but also you can take these out and use it for different things. You can also turn them around that way and use them that way if you want. So depending on how you want to use this area, you can have one cup holder and just have an empty space here, however you want to do it. Also, the very bottom is a rubberized material. You take these two out, you can pull that rubber part out and clean it, put it back in, that kind of thing. So these armrests, it actually has armrests on both sides. I don't know if you can tell, it has this little button right here. So if you want to lift it up and push that button, it'll lock it in that position. Lift it up, push the button, locks it there. To lower it, you press it and hold it and go all the way down. And it goes up and down freely until you push that button. You lock it up right where you want it. So you want to lock it there, it stays there. So that's pretty neat. So passenger side, same thing. It has that button there. You lift it up, lock it in place, and it stays there. All right. So these USB ports are accessible to the passengers in the back and the front. They're right in there. And then this slides back. And we have some more cup holder area in case we want to utilize that for something other than cups. There's a wireless charging area here where you can just utilize it as just a space. Put some stuff, but it does have the wireless charging, and then more USB-C ports here. These cup holders have little articulating arms, accommodating for different size cups. You can also take this out. If you want to take this out and just utilize this area in a different way. And it has the rubber bottom portion as well that you can take out. This one I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like when you take it out. So it's the same thing in that other compartment. Just a little rubber bottom piece. It keeps things from rattling around in the bottom, but also the ability to take it out, clean it out, which is nice. And that cup holder part you can put back in. Take it in and out. Clean it, of course. If it gets dirty, you can take it out and clean it. So that's some functionality there. The rear view mirror, it's an auto dim rear view mirror. And you go into the settings down here in order to turn it on and off, the auto dim feature on or off. And up here we have some soft touch buttons for your interior lights. You can turn on individually, like so. You can turn, when you open up the door, it's going to turn on the interior lights. If you want to turn that feature off, you just push that and it turns that feature off. In case you got a baby sleeping in a baby seat or whatever and you want to open the door discreetly, you can turn that feature off. Since it has its own cellular connection, you do have a emergency roadside assistance button as well for situations that you need help. And then this is a slider button. So this is for the shade for this massive sunroof. So let's go ahead and slide it. It takes a little while for it to go back, so we'll go ahead and slide it back so you can see that it's moving back. And while it's moving back, let's look at the visor here. It's a vinyl type cover, kind of textured, has a little clip, a mirror, a little light that turns on when you open it up. This slides in and out. Nothing on the other side. Kind of feels a little flimsy, that visor, so you want to be careful with it. Basically the same thing on the passenger side. And you have okay, so the shade's finally back. So now you can see this massive sunroof. Massive sunroof. Doesn't open up or anything, but it does give you some light. It gives you some, the ability to look out. In the shade, same, to close it, you just slide it. Just try that again, slide it. And you see it's kind of slow. Another thing about the shade is it doesn't block 100% of the light. It actually covers like maybe 80-90% of the light. You can actually see, you know, the sun still shining through. So it's still heating up the vehicle to some degree, even with the shade covering it. But you know, it's okay. It does better than some other vehicles. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. So, all right, so you can see this. There's a small glass in the back, and of course the headrests are going to get in the way a little bit. And of course it depends on what passengers or cargo in the way as well. So those are all factors. So it's not the best in the world, but it's not the worst. It's kind of mediocre. But of course it has the camera system, it has parking sensors, it has all that kind of cool stuff to kind of help you out with visibility anyway. But yeah, there you go. Thank you for watching, and thank you to East Coast Volkswagen here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, for providing the vehicle, and I'll see you guys next time.